Okay, so this is the last day of class, and so until the day of the exam itself, I won't see you guys again in person.
So our exam's on Tuesday at 1:30.
Yes, I'm absolutely checking real quick. Why can I never find the calendar when I want it? There we go. All right, this one is F lecture, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, this class's exam period is officially Tuesday, May 11th at 1:30 p.m. in this room. Now, I'm giving the same exam to the other lecture section of this class at Monday at 8:30 a.m. I realize that's not exactly a time that anyone wants to be awake and taking an exam, but I just have a policy where if I'm giving the same exam, I don't really care which section anyone attends. So if for some reason you guys would find it more convenient to take it this day for whatever your exam load is, whatever you've got going on, you are welcome to come to this section instead if you want to. Does anyone feel like they might do that just so they have a head count? Okay, at least one. At least two? Okay. That's more than I would expect to sign up for 8:30 on a Monday, but very good. I'll be here anyway. So these are the two times you come in, take the exam, or very similarly to a test. I think these slots last 3 hours. You'll have plenty of time. It'll be about twice the length of a normal test, but you'll have 2 to 3 times as much time. I'll be here as normal answering questions as they come up. I'll make sure you have all the formula sheets and information that you need. I've probably gone over this whole, I probably made this whole spiel several times, but I just am going to repeat myself endlessly until the end of time. So, be here one of these 2 times. As for nice if right space would just let me stay signed in. As for review materials, there is an exam tab on Brightspace, and I spent a lot of time yesterday finalizing the practice questions so that they could be uploaded yesterday. I forgot to upload them yesterday. So I feel at the moment, that's, pardon me as I swallow my shame. Okay, so on Brightspace, in the exam tab, we have the same formula sheet as the last test because it has all the information on it from the entire class. This is all that you need. If any other constants or things, if you need any other constants or similar things, I'll make sure they're provided to you. But this one sheet you already have access to and should already have a copy of. If you returned it on the previous test, that's fine. I'll make sure there's others. What I recommend in terms of studying is glancing over this and making sure everything on it looks familiar. You'll have the sheet, you don't have to remember the formulas, but you will need to be able to use them when you look on the sheet and pull them onto your page. Random aside, could you hand me those real quick? Thank you. If you click on the exam box itself, we have the list of topics that will be present on the exam. If it's not on this list, it won't be there, which means you don't have to worry about it. So do consult this. It is primarily just the previous two test lists combined, maybe with a couple extra things added on to the bottom. For example, using gravity as an acceleration. I'm actually going to edit this just a tiny bit now that I think about it. Be able to recognize and number Newton's laws. The laws are very important, but I'm not expecting anyone to recall them off the top of their head and write them in full on the exam itself, since we only talked about them briefly. So for a question, like maybe 3 points out of 200, there will be at least one question that lists the laws, and you will just have to number them, which one's which. So not have to recall them off the top of your head, be able to at least recognize and number them. Everything else, though, is things from previous tests. I will continue tweaking all the study material as we go, but if you understand all of these concepts, then you'll be absolutely fine. And honestly, I think everyone's going to be fine anyway. You've all been doing very good in the class. So I have absolute faith in all of you. In addition to this list of concepts to be familiar with, there's also practice questions. I apologize for formatting on this. It is, I admit, kind of a hodgepodge document that I threw together just to get you guys some practice questions. But every question on this is good practice. I make sure that they are, all the math questions I've remade so that you have something slightly new to work. And this will be very representative of the types of things you will see on the actual exam. You don't have to do any of these, but if you want practice questions to study with, here they are. And I will also be uploading an answer key for them by tomorrow at the latest. Tomorrow is reading day, so you will have them at the very latest by tomorrow.
So is this longer than the test, or is it about the same length, or shorter?
It is basically 2 tests combined.
Okay.
It is the entire semester all at once. It will be out of 200 points. There will be 210 points worth of questions on the exam. You'll be graded out of 200. So it'll be about twice as long as a normal test. Is designed to take you twice as long as a normal test, but that should still finish everyone up within the window. And if you have as long as you need within that window to just sit and focus and ask me any questions you have. Please ask me questions. If you are confused about anything, walk up to me immediately. Cool. Okay. So, all this material is here for you. You have until Tuesday and Monday to study. I will also be answering any of your study questions over email the entire weekend. And all that said, I think you guys are ready for this. Do be studying, do be reviewing, but I think you guys are all going to be just fine. You've covered all the foundational topics very well. You're going to do great on this exam, and you'll be set up for any other physics classes that you take. You've all done a good job, and I've been happy to get to know you, and I hope to be able to continue being your professor in other physics classes. So, with that said, if there's anything specific you would like us to cover, like specific topics from the topics list, any specific examples from previous tests, previous homeworks, or even from these practice questions, now is a good time for us to do that. But if not, we can either call it here or just relax for a little while, because it's a crazy world at the moment and everyone needs a nap.
That Newton's law stuff that we went over Friday, are you going to post the key to that homework, or is that PowerPoint you had on Brightspace?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I am just now realizing I didn't post anything about that. I apologize. I have Newton's law notes, and I can make sure those are available to you. I'm just gonna take a second to trim down the parts that you would actually need. Okay, it's really just this one slide. Bless you. Apparently I muttered to myself when I'm working. I apologize, everyone. That didn't work quite as planned. Okay, the slide with all that you'll need to know about Newton's laws is uploaded. It's really the only slide we looked at for them. This does comprise everything about them that you will actually need. You just need to be able to recognize with English. Any other questions or needs? Yes?
Is there any way to like calculate our grade? Or to see what our grade is?
That's a great question. Thank you. All my classes ask about that, and I forget until they ask. So thank you very much. There is a way to calculate your grade, and I will absolutely help you with it / do it for you, because I have all your grades in a spreadsheet rather than you having your grades separated in a pile. So, I'm actually going to load the syllabus up real quick, just so that I don't mess up the math. Because the syllabus is basically the formula for calculating your grade.
Yeah, I saw like the 30, 40, and 30, but I don't remember like gotten all the.
That's fair. I have all your grades written down, so if you need the record of something, I will absolutely, please send me an email, and I will absolutely reply to you with the information you need or the calculated score. But on the syllabus, we see that the final exam is 30% of the grade, your test average is 40%, and your class homework average is 30%. So what I do to calculate someone's grade before the exam is, I do 0.4 times their test average. You have to take both tests and average them together first. Plus 0.3 times the class / homework average. And that together, these things together will give you some number that will probably top out at around 70. That's not your grade in the class, that's your, like a portion of the whole percentage before the exam. Because without technically this math would be like if the exam was a 0, which means just doing this number would be your score if you just didn't take the exam. So there is a hypothetical situation where you aced everything and you'd have a 70 in the class if you got a 0 on the exam. That said, as long as you try the exam, it's basically impossible to get a 0 on it. Please have an answer for everything. Leaving it blank is the only way to get 0 points. So, what I do with this number is one of two things, depending on what I'm asked. Occasionally both. I do both things. One, to figure out grade, before exam, where you currently stand in the class, take that number and divide it by 70. I'm forgetting my own method. One sec. Yes, divide it by 70, and that will give you some other percent, or the decimal value of a percent, which tells you your current total grade. So in this situation, if you had 100 tests, 100 class homework, this would give you 70. 70 divided by 70 would be 1. You'd have a current class average of 100. The other question I am frequently asked is, what do I need on the exam to make an A in the class? What I do for that is, I take 90 minus whatever this number is, because 90 is the lowest grade to get just an A, and I don't do minuses, so 90 is an A. This would give me a number like 20, could be somewhere between 20 to 30, depending on how you're doing. Then I take this number, that 20, the portion of the grade we haven't looked at yet is the 30% for the exam. We did 0.4 times the test average, that would give us 40. 0.3 times the homework average would give us about 30. Those added together to form 70. So this 20 should be 0.3 times your exam score. So the difference between 90 and whatever you get here divided by 0.3 would tell you your exam score that you need to get an A. Using this sample math, and frankly, most of you are passing the class, so I don't see your grade, this number dipping below this by more than like 10 points. This math would tell me that you would need to make, like if this was currently your score, you only need a 67 on the exam to get an A. And the way I grade, you can get that by writing formulas and not leaving anything blank. As long as you actually take the exam, you're all gonna be fine. You all know what you're doing, you know which formulas you need. I've been hand waving a lot, but this is the math that I use to get to both of the answers to both of these questions. Since I have all of your scores on a spreadsheet, if it's more worth your time to just email me and I calculate this for you, that's fine. If you want to know where you currently stand or what you need on the exam, just send me an email. Email is the easiest way to do it because I see it in my inbox and I just tab over the spreadsheet. Does that help?
No, we have email you as well.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Well, like I said, we've gone over most, if not all, the material that you need. No, we haven't gone over all the material. You do be familiar with this list. It's the two previous lists added together, maybe a few things pulled out, and with the addition of Newton's laws on the end. The two previous tests are an excellent way to study, and frankly, the practice questions are just the same things from the previous two tests almost. Yeah. Yes.
There were 6 homeworks, right?
There was 8 total,
8, okay.
including the Newton's laws one that we did together last Friday. There's 8.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Well, it's the last day of class, so it feels like a Friday. You guys are welcome to head out and enjoy your day, or hang out here, review things, enjoy some fudge and some chips, whatever you'd like. I just, again, I appreciate you all, and despite it being not the optimal time to be in school, but it's still been a good year. Overall. Yes, absolutely.